Jai Shrindar, have you ever heard about this principle called Pareto Principle or the 80-20 rule? This is a principle that says that 80% of your outcomes stem from just 20% of the inputs. To give an example, for most YouTubers, the 20% of the videos brings about 80% of the views. Okay, so in this article, you will learn all about Pareto Principle or the 80-20 rule and how you can apply the Pareto Principle to build strong relationships and enhance your productivity. Let's get started. So let's first know how this Pareto principle came into existence. So in the 19th century, what happened was there was a Italian economist and Wilfredo Pareto who made a very remarkable discovery. Okay, so what he was as an economist, he was studying the wealth distribution in Italy, and he observed that 20% of the population in Italy owned 80% of the land. Intrigued by his findings, Pareto went on to investigate other phenomena to see if this ratio was something that again and again he saw that 80% of the income was earned by just 20% of the population. He also analyzed population distribution and saw that 80% of people lived in just 20% of the cities. And again, funnily, he just analyzed his garden also, and he saw that 80% of the pea pods produced 80% of the peas. So this recurring pattern of 80-20 rule become a recurring theme and many of the areas of life, and which this eventually observation culminated in the development of the Pareto principle, which just says that 80% of the consequences stem from the 20% of the causes. Now, let me give you some interesting examples of Pareto principle in action. You see, the 80% of the YouTube views are generated by 20% of the videos for most YouTubers, and only 20% of your clothes are worn by you 80% of your time. And interestingly, 80% of the happiness in your life stem from just the 20% of the people that you know. Conversely, 20% of people in your life brings about 80% of the pain, and 20% of your activities can significantly increase the likelihood of having a productive day or a sluggish day. Okay, so you know all of that stuff. Now you know what is Pareto principle. Now you will be wondering, I know Pareto principle, but how is it helpful in my life? How could it increase my productivity and relationships? Well, I will tell you all about that. So you see, in relationships, 20% of the people in your life are going to be responsible for 80% of the joy. Okay, so you can start spending more time and giving them more attention to increase your joy. Okay, to give you a concrete example, let's say there's a person called Bhim and his mother, his friend Jaggu, and his color Pareto guru brings him 80% of the joy. So by focusing his time and attention on these people, he could significantly increase his level of satisfaction. Okay, so similarly, there are 20% of people who bring 80% of the pain in your life. So if you can stay away from them as much as possible, then your pain is going to reduce drastically. Giving a similar example in Wave's life, let's say that his roommate Kalia and his toxic co-worker Kichak brings him 80% of the pain. So by staying away from them as much as possible, he could drastically reduce his pain. Okay. Now let's come to the topic of productivity, which is very important in most people's life. You see, 20% of their daily activities, which are generally common across all people's life, result in increasing the productivity by a lot. Okay, and it can significantly increase the likelihood of having a productive day. To give you a real world example, let's say in Beam's life, these activities may include waking up at 6 a.m. and sleeping early at 10 p.m., refraining from eating after sunset, which is generally a recurring theme in Sanatana-based religion like Jainism and Buddhism, and even in Sanatana Dharma, you are generally advised to not eat after 6 p.m. after the sunset. This actually aids in digestion, and even Ayurveda recommends that. And keeping your work environment clean, because this encourages you to work, and having a basket of fruits such as bananas and oranges nearby, this actually prevents you from binge eating on unhealthy stuff like chips and biscuits and whatnot. Okay, and having a water bottle and a glass nearby is also a very good idea. And reading a book just before sleeping or waking up, these are all the things that can drastically increase the likelihood of having a good and productive day. Okay, so if you focus your attention in doing these things, then you can drastically increase your productivity. Now, if you take the converse of that, then there's some activities in your daily life that if you do, you can drastically increase the chances of having a sluggish day. Okay, to give you an example, let's say that eating sugary drinks and food and working after 8 p.m., interacting with toxic people, these are all the things that drains your energy, and wasting time on social media sites like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. These are things that takes away your time and energy. And increases the likelihood having a sluggish day. Okay, so if you refrain from these activities, then you can really avoid a sluggish day. Okay, now to summarize this video, what you have learned is Sir Pareto, okay, who discovered the Pareto principle, which says that 80% of your consequences are just due to just 20% of the causes. To improve your satisfaction, you should focus on the 20% of people who bring you joy. And to reduce your pain, you should avoid interacting with the 20% of people who bring you the most pain. To enhance your productivity, if you can do the 20% of the daily activities that you can make that will make you more productive, and to avoid a sluggish day instead of productive, you can avoid the 20% of activities that make you sluggish. Okay, now coming to next steps. Okay, it's very important that you apply the knowledge that you have learned. So that's why I'm giving you practical step by step, so you have your time's worth in watching this video. Okay, so choose a preferred tool such as a text file, a notepad, or note-taking application, and answer the following question. Okay, which 20% of people in your life bring you the most joy? Which 20% of people can significantly increase the likelihood of you having a productive day? You can see Beam's activities mentioned above for inspiration, and which 20% of activities can significantly increase your likelihood of having a sluggish day. And also like which 20% of the people bring you the most pain in your life. Okay. Now you need to focus your attention on the 20% of people who bring you the most joy. Okay. Spend more time with them. And for the 20% of people who bring the most pain, stay away from them to the best of your ability. And incorporate the activities that make you more productive in daily routine, and try your best to do them, and avoid the activities that makes you sluggish. Okay, so that's all there is to Pareto principle, and I hope you will apply Pareto principle in your real life and benefit from it. Lastly, let's thank Sir Pareto from Italy for bringing this Pareto principle to our attention and benefiting humanity till this day. Lastly, in the video description, there's an article about the Pareto principle which you can read, which has some important FAQs that you may want to read. Like if you're wasting time on social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, then what can you do to stop wasting time on that? And what if your boss is among the 20% of people who bring you 80% of the pain? So what should you do in those situations? We have written FAQs for them. You can go ahead and read those FAQs. The link to the blog is in the description. Thank you very much for watching this video.